Please join me in welcoming Executive Vice President for the Comcast Corporation, Mr. David Cohen.
Bring this up to David Cohen height. Good evening, everyone. It's a true delight to be here on this final night of the Legislative Summit, and a particular pleasure because of your distinguished honorees like my good friend and personal hero, Congressman John Lewis and David Rubenstein, and with an organization I personally admire and love to support, one that Comcast, NBC Universal, and Telemundo is proud to partner with. And I congratulate all of you who came from around the country to participate. And participate is the operative word. Nobody packs more action into a 3-day summit than the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I know you spent all day yesterday on the Hill calling on members of Congress to promote the Chamber's legislative agenda. Now, visiting a congressional office can be a little intimidating, especially if you're new at it. But that should not be the case here. Take my word for it. Those senators and representatives were glad to see you. Every member of Congress these days understands at least 2 words in Spanish: voto decisivo. Unless I've totally mangled the pronunciation, that means the deciding vote, and Latinos have it. With the Hispanic community, growing every day as part of the electorate, 57 million Latinos are too big a group to fit into either party's hip pocket. Democrats know they can't take Latino support for granted. Republicans know they have to make up for lost time in earning that support. And with 880,000 Latinos reaching voting age every year, both parties can do the math. It's appropriate and it's smart to leverage numbers like that, to support goals in legislation and public policy, goals that continue the civil rights struggle that Latinos have been waging for generations. The heroes of the early civil rights movement, including John Lewis, who is here tonight, brown, black, and white, basically won the battle for equal rights. But the battle for equal opportunity rages on, especially when it comes to economic empowerment of Latino Americans. The U.S. Hispanic Chamber and its affiliated local chambers are at the heart of that effort. And it's appropriate that the Chamber is reaching out to corporate America as an ally, because business cannot be a spectator in the battle for equal opportunity. U.S. business has a social responsibility and a huge vested interest in helping Latino America build on its strengths. Strengths that include a record number of Latinos enrolled in college, and of course, annual purchasing power of $1.6 trillion a year, which would make U.S. Latinos the 16th largest economy in the world and the only economy in the industrialized world on track to double its size by mid-century. Business needs to tap into the well of growing Latino talent, both to refresh its aging workforce and to compete for those growing Latino customers. Speaking for Comcast, NBC Universal, and Telemundo, we are a stronger company today because of our relationship with the Hispanic community. We're proud to be known as a leader in Hispanic inclusion, and we continue to tap heavily into the Hispanic talent base, with Hispanics at 12% of our total workforce and making even larger strides moving into upper-level jobs at our company. We're aggressively expanding the business we do with diverse suppliers. Over $1.3 billion with diverse suppliers in 2013 alone. And that includes more than 600 Hispanic business enterprises, 24% more than only 3 years ago. Our business services division is the fastest growing business at Comcast. We've emphasized developing cloud-based IT solutions for small businesses, more and more of them Hispanic owned. Of course, we're also a media company, a big one. And to appreciate the changes Latino viewers are making to TV, I want to tell you a story about last month's Super Bowl game, which of course we carried on NBC. That game between the Patriots and the Seahawks drew a peak audience of 114.4 million viewers, which made the game the biggest audience ever to watch a TV broadcast. But on that same day, we relaunched NBC Universo, a Spanish-language cable channel offering sports and edgy entertainment. NBC Universo carried a first-ever Spanish-language broadcast of the Super Bowl, and that drew over 1 million viewers. And Universo led its competition in ratings all day long. Programming like that is part of our commitment to diversity. And Comcast is already the largest and best provider of independent Latino programming in Spanish and in English, with as many as 60 Latino-focused networks on most of our cable systems. We've substantially expanded our carriage of diverse cable networks over the past few years. And we've also launched several new diverse networks, including 2 independent Latino networks: Robert Rodriguez's El Rey Network with robust original programming, and Baby First Americas, focused on helping Latino families with young children. We've also invested heavily in the first of its kind Xfinity Latino Entertainment Channel, providing Latino-relevant content and available to over 20 million subscribers. And I'm pleased to make an announcement tonight that later this year, our Xfinity Guide will be available for Spanish language speakers in Spanish. Comcast is also the country's largest provider of residential broadband service. And in that view, that carries a critical personal and corporate responsibility to see that low-income families aren't left stranded on the wrong side of the digital divide without access to home broadband service, what Congressman Lewis called a few years ago a major civil rights issue of the 21st century. Our answer to that problem is a program called Internet Essentials, working with thousands of local partners in government, schools, and nonprofits in every area where Comcast has cable TV service. We're offering low-income families broadband connectivity for $9.95 a month. And this comes with a significant digital literacy training component for the whole family and the option to purchase an internet-ready computer for under $150. It's the nation's largest and most comprehensive broadband adoption program for low-income Americans. And I'm proud to report that since the program launched in August of 2011, we have now connected 450,000 families to the internet at home, with 1.8 million low-income people. And according to our surveys, 52% of the program participants are Latinos. That means that tens of thousands of Latino families have access to broadband at home for the first time through Internet Essentials. And we've seen some amazing results from this program. 98% of program participants say their children use the internet at home for homework and to do better in school. And 95% of those said that the internet has had a positive impact on their child's grades. Internet Essentials is an important part of our ongoing investment in the Latino community. And we look forward to expanding that investment once our pending transaction with Time Warner Cable is completed. That will bring Internet Essentials and all the rest of our programs, services, and commitments to the country's biggest Latino markets: New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, and El Paso. The details of that transaction are being reviewed right here in Washington. And to be honest, I'm a little puzzled at some of the arguments that have been raised against the transaction, supposedly on behalf of the Latino community. Our commitment to advancing opportunity for the Latino community is supported by a proven track record of action to invest tens of millions of dollars in Hispanic-controlled nonprofit organizations throughout our footprint, to award contracts to Latino businesses of all sizes, including the many businesses who are represented in this room tonight, to cultivate and fund the next generation of Latino entrepreneurs with innovative startups through Comcast Ventures and our one-of-a-kind Catalyst Fund, to champion independent voices with carriage of diverse Latino programming reflecting the richness of Latino culture, and to recruit, retain, and promote Latinos so that we have a workforce that reflects the customers we serve. And it bears repeating, the Time Warner Cable transaction will in no way whatsoever reduce market competition. Quite the opposite. It will stir the competitive pot by offering enhanced services to more homes, many of them Latino households. What could be better for the Latino community than consummation of this transaction? Comcast's ability to support the Latino community in the Time Warner Cable footprint is a huge win. So while its work continues, the federal government has briefly delayed our deal timeline. But there's no time out in the continuing campaign for equal opportunity to help Latino families close the economic gap that still separates too many from the American mainstream. This is a big challenge. Thank you. This is a big challenge that will take the joint efforts of community, government, and business organizations like the Chamber. At Comcast, we're glad to be part of the effort and proud to be partnering with this Chamber. Thank you very much for the invitation to be with you tonight, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. So at this time, it's my great pleasure and actually an honor to be able to introduce another good friend, a member of the Comcast NBC Universal Joint Diversity Council, a champion for Latinos in corporate America, a voice for the next generation of Latino entrepreneurs, and the conductor of this entire orchestra, the President and CEO of the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Javier Palomares. Javier.